In this interview, Local 514's host, Savannah Craig, speaks with Kyrstyn Kumor on their experience with their landlord. Kumor and Craig discuss tactics used by landlords to intimidate tenants, the process of taking a landlord to court, and Kumor's personal case. To hear more, stay tuned for the whole interview.
Yeah.
Okay, please
Okay.
continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Got it. No, it's okay. Yeah, so when me and my two roommates and I like moved in 2020, we were really lucky because our upstairs neighbor actually worked for Hojo at Concordia, which is the housing um thing at Concordia, like helps a lot of tenants. And they were like super helpful, and they were like, hey, like just like letting you guys know like how much like are you guys paying for rent right now, because the previous tenants were paying this much. Um, and we were paying a lot more than what the previous tenants were paying before. And my upstairs neighbor, Alex, they were like, you should file for rent fixation because like he raised the rent, and like I've been living here, I know all these things, and they were just super helpful. So we filed for rent fixation, and then in 2020, when we first moved in, 2020 May, it was like right just right after COVID first hit. Um, and then a year later, a year goes by, and then we get a letter in the mail, and it's all in French, and I don't understand French that well. So I was just like, what is this? And then I got my friend to translate it, and was like, oh, you're going to court against your landlord. I was like, oh, this is that rent fixation thing. So we go to court, and our landlord does not show up. So we won the case just by like default, but we had like proof. Like we pulled up to the courtroom with like photos, like evidence of like times that we've like messaged him, and he's never returned our like text calls or emails, um to show that like, and also we also like pulled up uh with like a lot of things that are wrong with the apartment. Like uh we had like the electricity was like off at some points, and we weren't like aware of when it would come back on, or like even like when we first moved in, I remember our water was off for like half an hour at one point. And we weren't aware, and that happened like I think twice or three times even. And just like little things like that, because like obviously like his thing was like, oh, I raised the rent because I renovated the place, but it was not like renovated. And like it there was like, because we knew the previous tenants, we had that like advantage of like knowing what the place was like before. And I feel like because like it was honestly like a lot of like what we did was like advised to us from our upstairs neighbors, Alex, and they were really helpful because they were like, you guys are all like really young students, and like landlords will try to like, they know that like we are like young, and we are not like, not a lot of like students like know their actual full capabilities as tenants and like what they can do and can't, so they take advantage of that. And Alex was just like, you need to pull in the courtroom with like all these things, like have like your receipts, have them printed out, and like have photographic evidence of like anything that's wrong with the apartment, and like to show that it's not like renovated and new. And so yeah, we won that. And then because the judge was like, because he owes you the difference between how much you were paying and how much what the previous tenants were paying for the entire time that you've been living there, which is years. So he owed us each like a lot of money, but because he didn't obviously like wouldn't pay us that, he we got to live there rent free for like, I think it was November of 2021 to May of 2022. We were living there rent free, and then we got it reduced um by in total by like, sorry, I'm just trying to, like $600. We got it reduced in total, which is really nice. So and then it went back to like, that's what the previous tenants were paying. So he raised it by 300, by 600, and then we just got it back. But he actually tried to rebuttal like against it, and like he tried to open up the case, and then we had to go back to court to fight against his trying to open it up and stuff. Sorry, I'm not that like educated on like court language, so like but yeah, so like he tried to open it up, and so we had to go back to court, and he told us like, he tried to tell the judge that like, oh, like this was like because he's a Hasidic Jewish man, and he was like, oh, this was a holiday, like I couldn't come because it was a holiday, and like, and then the judge was like, you had months in advance, like knowledge months in advance, you could have told the tenants like that you need to change the date due to your like religious duties on this holiday. But then he was like, oh, but I didn't like have it on my phone calendar, and like he was just like, he like was not making any sense, and like the judge kind of knew that. And he I think you're muted, I guess. Are you,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
I have a dog and I didn't want to.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I'll make sure you know.
I'm just letting you do your thing. I'll ask.
Yeah. But no, he tried to say that like because it was a religious holiday, he couldn't leave his house, and but the judge was like, you had months in advance, you could have informed the tenants and try to change the date, but you didn't. And so like and the case was not opened, like again, like it was just kind of finalized. And so now I still live in the place, and my rent is like lowered. Do you want me to say like the specific numbers, or
If you don't mind.
yeah, so it was when we first moved in, I lived with two other people. We were all in total, our rent was 1,800, and then we got it reduced to 1,350. So like we were all paying 600 each, but now we all pay, when it got reduced, it was like all like 400 or 425 each, which is really nice. Yeah, it was now the total rent is 1,350. So it's pretty sweet. And like yeah, when he tried to open it up, we just like came with a bunch of evidence. And also like another thing is that I have lived in this man's building for like 4 years. I'm coming up on my fifth summer, I think, or fourth summer. Well, no, since 2020, so 21, 22, 23. Okay, yeah. I'm coming up on my fourth year of living in this building. I have seen this man like less than 10 times. Like two including court. Like he's very, very unresponsive, and like anytime we have a problem, we kind of have to deal with it ourselves. And like I just wanted to say this because you were talking about how like ways in which landlords like try to silence the tenants or like repress them. I have a lot of experience with that with this guy too, with my landlord, because he's just very irresponsible, like or unresponsive. So like we didn't have electricity when we first moved in. We didn't have water. Like our water was on and off sometimes, and he wouldn't tell us when it would come back on. But then when we did all this whole court case and we got the rent lowered, he was like even less responsive. Probably because he was like mad at us because we like took it to court. And he like we had like very our heating in our building was really, really wonky. Like the rooms were heated, but the living room and the kitchen like did not have proper heating, and it was really, really cold, and it was not livable. Like every time I would have to be in my kitchen, I would have to be wearing like multiple layers, and it was like anytime I had a guest over, I was like, just come to my room, like it's so cold in here, like I'm sorry. And we emailed him like multiple times, we called him, we like message apped him, and we like texted, WhatsApp, called, emailed, like everything, and he did not come and fix it. Until he came like 2021, he fixed the heating in our rooms, but then this winter we had a cold living room and kitchen like throughout the whole winter. Like we got space heaters, but that was from our own pockets. Like I bought the house space heater because I have a pet bunny that lives in the living room, so I was like, this is for her. And also like he's just not going to come, like it's not happening. And then similarly, we had our sink, our bathroom sink is a really small sink, and it was clogged for like 2 months. And it got like, at first it was just like kind of regular like clogged, but then it got worse, where the fact where like if you turned the water, it would just like sit there, like it wouldn't go down, the water would not go down. So it was really gross and brutal. And we would have to just like not use the kitchen, the bathroom sink. Like I just would like brush my teeth in the kitchen sink and like wash my hands in the kitchen sink, which is like not convenient. Because this bathroom sink was so clogged and so gross that we couldn't use it. And we messaged him, like I messaged this man daily. I emailed him daily. I called him, like being like, you need to come fix this bathroom sink. It's clogged. Like we have told you this. And it wasn't until like that was for like a good 2 months. And then it wasn't until me and my roommates, I was like, this is like insane. Like we haven't had a proper like bathroom sink. Like I think we should just take this into our own hands and like hire a plumber, and then hire a plumber to come and fix it, and then like pay the plumber, and then whatever it was, keep that receipt, and like we take it out from our rent. And me and my roommate like did a lot of we researched it because we weren't sure if that was legal. And then we found that like if it's like and like correct me if I'm wrong, because you actually might know more than this than I do, but like apparently if it's like if a landlord is not fixing a thing that's like that leaves the tenant in a unlivable condition, then the tenant is allowed to fix it themselves and then keep the receipt and then get it reduced from the rent of that month. But that's only if it's like an unlivable condition. And so we were kind of confused. I was like, okay, well, what's the definition of that? Because like we can live like this, but it's like it's not ideal. So we what we did is that like I called a plumber and I was like, hey, can you come on Sunday to fix this bathroom sink? And then we emailed, and I was like, my landlord, and we were said like, hey, this is the tenants from your building, to like we have given you multiple chances to come fix. And also, okay, he would respond, he would say, I'm coming tomorrow at 4, and then he wouldn't show up. So and then he did that like 3 times, where he said, okay, I'm coming today at 6. Oh, actually it's gonna be 8. Oh, and then he wouldn't show up, and he's like, oh, I'm actually coming like March 30th, I'm coming March to, and then he would not show up. So it was like so annoying, because we would be like, okay, finally he's gonna come, and then he didn't. But it wasn't until we messaged him and we were like, we have given you multiple chances to come fix our kitchen sink or our bathroom sink that's clogged, and so but you haven't came. So we are hiring a private, or we're hiring a plumber, and he's coming on Sunday to come fix it, and we will let you know how much it costs and send you the receipt. And then it wasn't until we said that, then he was like, okay, he said, do not do that, like I'm coming. So that's, and then he actually did come and fix the sink. So that was really nice. And that was like that was actually pretty recently. That was in April, early April he came. But it was like all of February and March, like was brushing my teeth in my kitchen sink. Like it was like really it was really gross and like clogged, and like washing your hands, it would just like the water would sit there. Like it was so gross. But yeah, then so he came finally and he fixed it after we emailed him being like, we took this matter into our own hands. And I thought that was a really like just like a clear like indication that like he wasn't ever going to do anything unless we took the matters into our own hands and said, no, you know what, we're actually going to like hire someone to do this, because you're not doing your job. But he finally came and he fixed it, and now I have a running bathroom sink, which is nice. But that just happened. And he is like that, where like unless we like email him, like if we like email him like hourly, he won't come unless it's like unless we kind of honestly threaten him. Like that's how I got him to get the heating in the winter of 2021. The heating was really, really bad in all of the rooms, like every single room. And I was like, this is illegal. Like, or I know, I said like, we can take you to court over this. Like, this is not like legal, or this is just like, it's just insanely messed up that it's like, we live in one of the coldest cities in the world and we have no heat. And it's like, it was January. And I think in my email, I said like, we will like like we will take legal action if you don't come and like fix this heating, because this is like unacceptable and unlivable. And then he came and he fixed the heating in our and then we had like proper heating. But that was like that was in winter of 2021. Yeah. And then the bathroom sink incident was like this month, like early April he came. So it's always been like we have to repeatedly message him and email him and call him. And he also has like he tells us he has multiple phone numbers and emails, which is really annoying. So we like email all these different ones and message him, and like he never messages me back, but he messages my roommate back. He like emails emails him back, but not me. And that's really annoying also. But like he yeah, like he doesn't really like do his job unless we like consistently remind him to, or we like threaten to get someone to pay someone else to do his job, and then he'll come. But it's really hard. And it's like the building that I live in has 6 apartments, and one of them, yeah, it has 6 apartments, and all of my neighbors, like we all like we're all pretty supportive of one another, which is really nice. And we have like this building group chat on Facebook that we contact each other with, just in times like when we need things, and because we all know that like our landlord is like not a good landlord, and like he will leave us, like, and he won't do his job properly. So we all like help each other out, which is really sweet. And so it's nice because it's like really good neighbors, but like terrible landlord. But so it kind of balances out, but like it shouldn't be like that. But yeah, like my neighbors and I, it's a very community feel vibe. Like we got each other's back, and like just when there was like the ice storm a few weeks ago, and like we lost power, and like all of my neighbors like brought each other like candles and food and stuff, and like it was very sweet. And like it's good people in the building. But yeah, it's like and he's like this with everyone, like with all the tenants. Like all my neighbors will complain about like their water, or like just like heating and lighting just randomly being off, and like him not coming to like fix anything. And like I think one of my neighbors said that they have mold growing on like their bathroom ceiling, and she's messaged him multiple times, and he hasn't come and done anything. And yeah, it's just it's pretty awful. But like, and it sucks because I feel like everyone just like knows that he doesn't. It's kind of like common knowledge now that he like will not help you unless you really really like fight back legally, kind of. And if you're like if you say like, hey, like unless you threaten to take legal action, like he will not help you. It's like kind of it's really sad, but that's just like the reality. And like a lot of my neighbors and I, like we just kind of like try to help each other out. Like if we can do things ourselves, we will. Like another incident is like, so we have like washing and drying unit in the basement of the building, but the dryer was the washer broke, and he wouldn't get us a new, like for like a year and a half we didn't have a washer, but we had a dryer. So it was really annoying because I would just like I would wash my clothes at a laundromat and then come back home and put them in the dryer. But it wasn't until I had new neighbors move in, and they were like, why don't we just all pitch to get a new washer? And so that's what we did. Like my downstairs neighbor got a washer for the building, and then we all like e-transferred her. So that was really nice. But I was like, I feel like this should be on our landlord. Like it should be like wallet that pays for this. But we just kind of like, we were like, yeah, like it's not even like kind of worth it, like because he's not going to do it. Like that's the like the sad kind of reality, I guess. But it's nice because yeah, now we have a free washer and dryer in the basement, and like we all use it, and it's like really nice how we all like pitched in and got the building a washer. But that's just like another example of like kind of the neighbors like having each other's back more than the landlord.
Yeah. No, it's good you guys have a group chat.
Yeah, it's really helpful. And like like, again, with my case, even like it was all thanks to my upstairs neighbor Alex, who worked for Hojo, because now they've moved out of the building, but when I moved in 2020, they had been living there for like 3 years, so they knew the landlord. They knew how annoying he is and how like unresponsive he is. And so yeah, Alex just kind of gave us the head up, being like, look, I'm a bit older, I know all this stuff, like I know you guys are like young students, you probably don't know what your rights are, but here's what you can do, and just letting you know, like, will not very irresponsive. So like let me know if you guys have any, like if you need anything, which is super like we owe it all to Alex, like our upstairs neighbor. And like they, even when we went to court like the second time, we were like, Alex, can you come to court with us and like be our lawyer? And they were like, I'm not a lawyer, but like I can come for like moral support, but I can't represent you. And we were like, okay, well, it's fine. But like they were just like super well informed and super kind and patient with us, and like, and it was amazing, honestly, because if they didn't live upstairs, we probably would not have done any of this. Like we probably just would have been like, okay, we're gonna pay 1,800, like it was 600 each. I was like, that's fine. But now it's a lot lower, so which is really nice.
When you signed the lease, there's a section in Quebec leases that say the price of the former rent. Do you know if that part was filled in or not?
To be honest, I don't know. I don't really remember, but we didn't. I don't think I don't. Okay, I'm not like 100% sure, but I don't think that I saw that. But also, it was like years ago, and maybe it was like in small print. But when I signed the lease, I did not know what the previous tenants were paying. Like he didn't tell us, and I didn't know. But we were just fortunate enough to actually know the people who lived there before, and have like an upstairs neighbor who told us what they were paying. But I was not told. It might have been on the lease, but I don't know.
Okay, no worries. And then I just wanted to ask, is there anything you would like share to tenants who maybe feel discouraged by, standing up for their rights?
Yeah. I would just say like talk to your neighbors. Like it is so like helpful to just like talk to the same people who live in your building. Because like that's how I got like my success story of like getting free rent and rent reduced, is because like my upstairs neighbor like came and chatted with us, and like now I do the same. But anytime there's someone new in my building, I go and I talk to them, and I'm like, this is the deal. He sucks, like we're here, let me add you to on Facebook, let me add you to the group chat, like and I like tell a lot of people my story, because it's like crazy, and like it's like very very lucky, and like I know how I feel, like everyone knows like a friend of a friend that happened to. But I would like, when it happened to me, I was like, I cannot believe this, like we are so lucky, like because I've never heard of this happening to anyone I knew. Like I knew people like taking landlords to court, but I also didn't know anyone who's successful in getting and benefiting from free or reduced rent. So it was really really like amazing to get that. But yeah, I would just say like talk to your neighbors, and try to like if you can, like try to talk to the people who previously lived there, and also just like do lease transfers and like swaps, like to keep the rent low. And I guess also just like try to like read up and learn what your rights are, because the more you know, then it's like the more like you can be well informed in making these decisions on how to go about conflict with your landlord. Because at least like for me, like I was like 20, I was 19 when I moved into that building, like, and so I was a kid, like I didn't know what I could do, and like but the thing is that landlords know this. Landlords know that like there are like young people who are moving out for the first time, like on their
you can get started,
like on their own with their parents, their students, like they're naive, like, and they take advantage of that. So I would just say to like all the tenants out there is just like read up on what you can do, your rights, and talk to your neighbors. And like also there are like really good resources for housing, like housing like rights and tennis rights, like Hojo at Concordia was really helpful. And that's where Alex, my old upstairs neighbor, worked. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure like other universities have their own like housing center thing that has a lot of good resources and just support for tenants and stuff, and for like finding housing and stuff, like because that too can be really hard and like and difficult.
Thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yeah,
taking the
of
time with
of
me.
course. Yeah, this is really cool what you're doing.
Thank you.
Like, I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Is that it? Like, do you have any other questions?
No, honestly, that's mostly it. And it's lovely to hear a success story. So
Yeah, definitely. No, when Sophia messaged, like, ran into me, she was like, I just thought of you because I like don't know anyone else. And I was like, yeah, it's good.
well, pretty good, honestly. That
Yeah,
must
I know.
Wow.
I was like, I am like, I am so aware of how lucky I am, and like it's insane. Like I can't believe it, and I'm just like, I like kept telling everyone when it happened because I was just like, but then I felt bad because I felt like I was bragging, but I was like, it's just insane. Like I just like, it's yeah, it was a blessing.